Right now at 6, the first debate kicks off. La Crosse mayoral candidates vying for your vote. We're there live.
And a political expert weighs in on Trump's federal worker cuts, how they may impact Wisconsinites.
You're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now at 6.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Ken Kozarowski.
And I'm Emily Brown.
Right now, La Crosse's mayoral candidates are meeting in the first forum of the election cycle.
This time around, there are 4 candidates vying for the mayor's seat: Shondell Washington Spivey, Ellie McClune, Vicki Markison, and Chris Kalo. La Crosse's current mayor, Mayor Mitch Reynolds, decided not to seek a second term. Candidates can expect to answer questions on topics ranging from the city's homeless population to the potential for La Crosse to create a city administrator position. News 8 Now's Allison Fergott is on tonight's panel, and we'll have coverage on the forum tonight at 10.
A federal judge blocking a deadline for 2 million federal workers to take President Donald Trump's buyout offer.
That deadline was originally midnight. Reports say that at least 50,000 employees had already accepted the deal.
So what does this all mean for federal workers here? Our own Grace Monk is live in the newsroom tonight with some answers. Grace.
Ken and Emily, for federal workers here, it's business as usual. But I spoke with a political expert from UW-Milwaukee about the impact the cuts could have on Wisconsinites. Last week, the Trump administration announced a plan to cut thousands of federal employees.
This is sort of very unusual in the way we as Americans expect government to work. You know, government is very sort of process-oriented as well as results-oriented. And that really does apply when we think about the civil service. As
of March 2024, Wisconsin had over 19,000 federal employees on the payroll. Cuts could impact workers at nearby agencies like the VA, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Agency, and Postal Service.
Whether we're talking about Wisconsinites in La Crosse or Wisconsinites throughout the state, they're going to be surprised how much they're influenced by services of the federal government.
Cutting employees could slow down programs that provide people with financial assistance for things like housing and food.
Let's say all of a sudden the HUD regional office in western Wisconsin was cut by 25% or 50%. Now, if somebody was on the waiting list for Section 8 housing, does that mean that their application will have to wait that much longer because there are fewer employees who are handling the waiting list?
Lee urges Wisconsinites to consider how this will affect their daily lives. There's no word right now on how long the pause will last. Ken and Emily?
All right, Grace, thank you.
Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin wants answers from the White House. The reason: reports that federal funding was allegedly blocked for Wisconsin Head Start. Program leaders were reportedly locked out of pay systems to keep operations running. Head Start provides childcare and preschool education to more than 10,000 Wisconsin children.
Yeah, overall not a bad day, but definitely the wind is the story in the afternoon and evening. But now our attention is going to start turning to the alert day conditions on Saturday, or actually late Friday night and Saturday, for accumulating snow. And quite a bit of snow. We haven't seen this probably since about late December for some areas. Hazardous travel, we're looking at 3 to 8 inches. Looks like the highest totals still are I-90 and northward, but that could change. Overall, if we look at the amounts, it's going to be a swath about 6 to plus 8 potentially in some area near the Twin Cities, stretching eastward. Now that could move a little bit further south or north, but right now it's been holding pretty steady there. La Crosse is kind of right on that edge of 4 to 6, but it drops off pretty quickly as you go south towards Prairie du Chien, where a couple inches are possible. So it will be a decent snow event, nothing too significant for the winter, but this evening is the winds, and current wind speeds are still above 20 in most areas, and some areas like Rochester above 25, and that's going to be the story this evening is the wind. It will begin to decrease, but it won't take until probably 11 p.m. that we see much in the way of winds getting below like 15 miles per hour. Temperatures overall getting back to the single digits and teens, so pretty typical for early February. And then tonight we're going to look at temperatures getting back into the single digits. maybe even colder for snow-covered areas. Now later on, we're going to break down when we're going to get the snow for Saturday, how much, and then it's looking like cold is coming back for next week too.
All right. Thank you, Greg. Well, charges are now filed against a suspect in an Eau Claire homicide. 18-year-old Demarion Stogner faces 10 charges, including first-degree intentional homicide. Stogner is accused of shooting and killing Andre Simmons Jr. on January 25th in Eau Claire. His preliminary hearing is set for February 25th.
Wisconsin consumers battled scams, identity thieves, and sketchy landlords last year. In a list released today, the Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection reports rental disputes top the list of 2024 complaints. Telemarketing scams came in second, followed by home improvement problems. Identity theft complaints jumped from last year. In total, the state says it helped return $23 million to wronged consumers.
There's a change coming to new plates in the state of Wisconsin. Essentially, if you're going to be getting a new one, it's going to be starting with the letter B. The state has run out of all the combinations that begin with the letter A. So if you're getting a new one, you're going to have the letter B.
Clinic at an open house today. Due to high demand, the clinic saw an extensive remodel and moved up to the 5th floor for more space. The clinic features 6 more ultrasound rooms and 8 more exam rooms than their previous space.
They've just really enjoyed the new bright space. It's a lot more aesthetically calming because obviously going to your gynecology appointment isn't always the most fun. So that's been nice to have this nice aesthetic pleasing space for them during this time.
Dr. Ted Peck was honored with the naming of the ultrasound wing on the new floor. He's being honored for his 30 years of service with Gunderson.
The 47th annual Lacrosse Sports Show is kicking off today. That event over at the Lacrosse Center running until the 9th. It features hunting and fishing equipment along with family-friendly activities like balloon animal demos and an archery show. Tickets are still available for purchase both online and at the event.
Well, Culver's restaurants are trying to keep Wisconsin warm. 34 restaurants will be donating 10% of all sales raised today to support the Keep Wisconsin Warm Fund. The group keeps the heat and power on for thousands of Wisconsinites who need help. 95% of those helped are veterans, elderly, and working families with young children.
Well, we've got plenty of more local news coming up.
But first,
a closer look at how a federal funding freeze could impact domestic violence shelters. Those details next.
When you've trusted your personal injury case to Bygoff and Rohde, you're going to feel the weight of the world off your shoulders. You have to concern yourself with getting to the doctor and trying to get better. We'll do everything else. And that's how we get results for our clients.
Susan Crawford. She's the prosecutor who locked up violent criminals, the judge who's kept them off the street, and the leader who fought for abortion rights. On the Supreme Court, she'll look at the facts and uphold the law. Fair, impartial, common sense. That's Judge Susan Crawford.
For me, being a judge is really pretty simple. There's right and there's wrong, and I'll always do the right thing for Wisconsin.
The Lacrosse Sports Show is back February 6th through 9th.
Shop the latest gear and explore a massive selection of boats, docks, lifts, ATVs, RVs, fifth wheels, travel trailers, and more.
Save big with exclusive show-only pricing. Grab cash and carry items to take home and enjoy family-friendly entertainment.
Come for the deals, stay for the fun.
If there's too much to see, come back a second day for free.
Open now through Sunday at the Lacrosse Center.
Your ticket to outdoor adventure awaits at lacrossesportshow.com.
Around here, neighbors come together to make each other better. We're taking the same approach with healthcare. Gunderson Health System and Bellin Health have come together to form Amplify Health, giving you more of what's important in healthcare. More caring, more listening, more to feel good about on your way to feeling better. Overall, just a little more heart. Amplify Health by Gunderson. A little empathy changes everything.
After you've been injured in an accident, life becomes chaotic. You have doctor's appointments, medical bills, insurance adjusters harassing you to settle your claim. When you call Bygoff and Rohde, we take care of it all. We get results.
A cut in federal funding is threatening the future of a number of domestic violence shelters across Wisconsin, including Eau Claire's Bolton Refuge House.
News 8 Now's Allison Ferget spoke with the House's director about the future of shelters across Wisconsin and the price of safety. Allison.
Last March, Congress set a new limit on the amount of funds from the Victims of Crime Act that can be dispersed to states. And with the cut to accessible funds, Bolton Refuge House is facing an uncertain future.
We were among the very first to establish a domestic violence shelter.
Paula Stitchen was here when the Bolton Refuge House opened its doors in the late 1970s. She remembers the days when places like this didn't exist.
There was no information out for women in terms of just a whole lot of services that were available in Eau Claire, and we wanted to consolidate that.
Over the decades, they've expanded their services, now helping thousands of residents throughout Buffalo, Eau Claire, and Jackson counties. At the heart of it all, a 24 hours a day, 365 days a year emergency shelter, the only one of its kind in the area.
Not just in Eau Claire County, but in the full greater Chippewa Valley.
Each year, more than 150 women and children come through their emergency shelter's doors. When we visited, 15 beds were in use, beds now on the brink of closing.
It's very fragile. Where we are sitting is very fragile.
In the past, Wisconsin's DOJ awarded the Bolton Refuge House $250,000 a year from the Victims of Crime Act. A federal cap has now limited how much individual organizations can receive in Wisconsin. This year, Bolton was awarded just $90,500. Wisconsin's Act 241 has helped provide a financial cushion while they deal with the cuts, but that act is set to expire this June.
If we don't see something different shortly that's going to address the loss in June of those monies, that's where we can sit with having to make some critical decisions.
Like potentially reducing or cutting some victim services, including the shelter.
The least funded program is the emergency shelter. And when I say the least funded, it doesn't get federal or state grants. That is because of the fact it's a non-mandated service.
In 2023, 85 people died in Wisconsin from domestic violence-related incidents, a number Stein says will go up as funding for shelters like theirs goes down.
The reality is that if we don't exist, we will lose our most viable resources in the community, which is humans' lives.
Now the Bolton Refuge House is asking the community to help through either financial donations or calls to lawmakers.
We're going to have a call back to the community saying, hey, we were here for you in 1976. You guys got to be here for us in 2025 going forward.
Bolton Refuge House isn't the only one faced with a tight budget. Most other organizations that receive VOCA dollars also saw their funding cut, like New Horizons in La Crosse. In western Wisconsin, domestic violence shelters are few and far between. Stein says other shelters facing cuts makes matters even worse.
Allison, thank you. We also asked Stein about the potential freeze on federal funding. While the executive order is held up in court, she says if it goes into effect, Bolton House could only operate a few months before making significant cuts or closing completely.
Well, we have more news ahead.
But first,
got some snow back in the forecast, and actually some significant snow for once, since we haven't seen much in the way of this type of snow since last December. But we're going to have it. We'll track down how much and then what the temperatures look like going next week. That all coming up on your First Warn Weather Update after the break.
Want to test drive U.S. Cellular's nationwide 5G coverage?
Yeah.
Download our app. Want to do it even faster?
Here we go.
U.S. Cellular works great out here. Wow, still have 5G here too. Hey, I wonder if U.S. Cellular lets me stream in my Rec Room. Yep, it's working.
Try out our nationwide 5G coverage free for 30 days. Download the U.S. Cellular Try-Us app today.
It's so cold.
I guess I should have called G&T Heating before the furnace went bad. Quite silly, really, with all the things that can go bad with a furnace. Plug vent, rust buildup, dirty flame sensor, the filter. Should have called G&T sooner.
My fingers are freezing. They're numb.
Oh, take my extra pair of gloves.
Extra gloves?
Your mom got a new tractor? Yep. Can't she see in the dark?
Can do. Hook up all the implements? Can do. Steer with ease? Can do. Bale hay all day? Can do. Shift like a race car? Can do. I'm out of here.
Visit any of your local Johnson Tractor dealerships, now including La Crosse and Richland Center.
Get ready for the big game with Spectrum. Welcome more excitement into your home as you enjoy the best TV streaming experience. Spectrum brings your entire family together with the fastest, most reliable internet so everyone can enjoy all the sports and entertainment they love. Cheer on all your favorite players on football's biggest night. With the touch of a button, Spectrum puts you at the center of it all so you never miss a play. Get in the game and save with Spectrum Internet Premier for only $30 per month when bundled, plus a 3-year price guarantee. Call 1-877-959-1722.
It's amazing all the work that goes into growing this little guy. The research you've done over the past decades is critical to grow a good quality crop.
The UW-Madison has developed lightcasts to help farmers manage leaf blight before it takes root in potato fields.
I can't really overstate how important that is.
What's at stake isn't just the crop in the ground, it's the sustainability of your family farm.
This partnership really makes me proud to be a Wisconsin farmer.
One Wisconsin, on Wisconsin.
Yeah, before we get to the snow, we still got the wind this evening, and it's still quite gusty and winds over 25 to even 30 at times, too. It will begin to decrease, but probably not till about 8. We'll start seeing some speeds get finally below 20, but still 15 to 20 miles per hour out of a west-northwest. It'll continue to about 9 or 10, and then after that, I think we'll start getting into 10 to 15. So still going to be battling the wind for at least the next several hours, and then we'll start seeing some improvement with the wind. Now, tomorrow, the high temperature is actually going to be fairly nice, actually, for this time of year. Mid to upper 20s in a lot of locations, maybe even a few places getting close to freezing. Where you have snow on the ground, probably going to be stuck more into the 20s. But all in all, light winds. We'll have high cloud cover out there, but all in all, not too bad to end the work week. And if we look at the panic meter for the system, this is going to be a system that otherwise you're going to be getting finally the shovel out, and potentially a lot of areas that have been waiting to get the snowblower out. You might finally see that for once. We haven't seen it too much in the last month. So it is a good system, but nothing unusual for the wintertime to see this. Really, it's going to be a band that's going to develop eventually tomorrow evening. It initially may spread a little bit of snow overhead going into maybe 10, 11, but I think the main area will start after midnight. It'll be north of La Crosse. Probably Eau Claire will see that. Eventually, by the time we get to maybe 3 or 4, we'll start seeing that snow get towards La Crosse, and that band is going to kind of set up through about 8. Just along I-90 and further north. So that's kind of the area where it is. Further south you go, you may not see much in the way of snow, like towards Prairie du Chien area, and probably until we get to maybe later Saturday morning. Eventually this will sag southward. That's when we'll see more of the whole entire area seeing snow. And then when we get in the afternoon, you're going to start seeing some of the back edge of the snow pushing east. So some areas will start seeing the snow come to an end, or maybe see a few snow showers continue to the evening. But all in all, it's going to be out of here, as you see, by 6:30 p.m. All of it's pretty much east of the area with just a few lingering showers out there. So overall, it's going to be a quick hitting system. Not expecting any type of snow probably going through the evening on Saturday. The roads probably still will be a factor because this will bring colder air in. The clearing skies will allow the temperatures going into Sunday morning to probably drop into the single digits. So road-wise, it'll probably still be kind of a mess out there. That's why we got the alert day, 3 to 8 inches, pretty much right after midnight. 10 p.m. is kind of stretching it. I think snow-wise, probably 6 p.m. Roads could probably go all the way to Sunday morning. And once again, the highest totals right now are north of I-90 overall. If we look at the totals, the winter storm watches are out for those areas I just mentioned. These might be upgraded to a warning or advisory later tomorrow, but pretty much it stretches all the way back to western Minnesota. And that really lines up well with where that 6 to 8 plus, that is where we're going to have to keep an eye on. There'll be areas in there that get that. Otherwise, it drops off really quickly as you go down to like Prairie du Chien. We're looking at 1 to 2. North of Ladysmith will probably drop off to 4 to 6. But somewhere in that area, you're going to get it about 6 to 8 and maybe more. Once again, that's what we're kind of looking at. And that could change. So overall, we know Friday looks quiet. Snow should be Saturday a.m. through the early afternoon, and then it's kind of a hit and miss in the afternoon time frame. Not expecting a lot of accumulation probably after that. And the good news with this, the winds are light, so blowing and drifting won't be a problem. Now, what we don't know quite yet is where that 6 to 8 inch band could set up. period with the highest snow rate. I still think it might be in the morning, but that could be in there. And road conditions, how much they're going to linger going into Sunday. So that's what we're looking at right now. The good story going in, Sunday looks quiet, but the main story going next week is going to be cold. And sub-zero temperatures are likely if we don't have cloud cover. Some areas may get in the teens below zero for some of those days too, with maybe slightly more modified temps as we get towards Valentine's Day. So winter's back. It definitely is good. And the good news is we're going to have snow. Unlike January, we had those cold temps. We didn't have snow. This time around, we're going to have the snow on the ground.
All right. Thank you, Greg. Coming up next in sports, Johnny to the Grizzlies. A local legend gets a new start in the NBA. Plus, Holman Wrestling ready to keep the good times rolling into the postseason. We'll hear from a couple of the grapplers next.
Is it time for new windows or doors? Contact the company who has done the research for you. The best windows and doors installed by the best people. Clear Choice Window and Home Solutions.
As head of criminal appeals, Susan Crawford had one job: keep a convicted rapist behind bars. Yet Crawford didn't bother filing the appeal in time, letting the rapist walk free. The victim, already scarred beyond measure, called Crawford's negligence utterly disgusting. Traumatized by Crawford's disregard for justice, her criminal coddling record is an injustice to us all.
Wisconsin winters are no joke. Just ask Barry the Bear. Every year he hibernates to escape the cold. But hibernating on an old lumpy mattress? It's unbearable. So Barry came to King Furniture because right now you can trade in your old mattress for $100 towards a new one. Get this closeout therapeutic mattress and box spring for just $4.99 when you trade in your old mattress.
Well, now that's hibernation heaven.
Survive the winter and make your den a little comfier at King Furniture.
As a veteran of our country's armed services, you have already made a most noble sacrifice. Why should you have to continue to do that? Through no fault of your own, you may be experiencing hardships, such as the inability to pay rent, utilities, or receive other life-sustaining services. And once again, you're called upon by your family to serve and protect. We want you to know we are here to support you. The Veterans Rental Assistance Program was created by and for people living in Wisconsin, with benefit approvals being issued in just days, not months. It's not easy to ask for a hand up, but we are clear in our mission. No Wisconsin veteran should ever have to face homelessness or lose heat or power again. 833-WIS-VRAP. That's 833-947-8727.
Covering all the exciting action from your community. Here's News 8 Now Sports with Jacob Lenzendorf.
In just over a week, high school wrestlers from across the state will begin their journey to the Kohl Center as regionals are set to begin. We've got a lot of teams hoping to send some kids this state, including Holman, who has proven to be one of the top teams in Division I. The Vikings lineup is loaded from top to bottom with some hammers. They're currently the #3 team in Division I and have 8 kids ranked, according to a Wisconsin Grappler. Head coach Justin Lancaster is in his 3rd season at Holman. He's aware of the success the program has had in the past and says this team is ready to make a run not only at individual state, but for team state as well.
They're doing the right things right now, just being relaxed and understanding that they are prepared for that and not to overthink it and get too caught up on anything.
Yeah, we haven't been the team state since my freshman year, so it's been a super big goal for us just to have our class as the last class to kind of show these guys through team state, not focusing on those rankings. We're just going to go wrestle, do what we can do, and show everybody Holman.
Another big reason for Holman's success is their underclassmen. Multiple freshmen and sophomores find themselves in the starting lineup. And not only are they making a difference, but they're also living out their dreams.
It's fun for all of us because we grew up dreaming of this time where we'd get to represent our high school and our community. It's fun to all work together to eventually reach those goals that the seniors set, and we can just help do everything we can to get to that point.
And the Vikings will kick things off hosting a Division I regional on Saturday, February 15th. And the trade deadline has passed, and along with a plethora of other moves around the league on the final day, lacrosse's Johnny Davis was traded from the Washington Wizards to the Memphis Grizzlies just minutes before the deadline closed. Davis was drafted 10th overall in the 2022 draft by Washington and played 2+ seasons for the franchise. He never found a consistent role with the Wizards, averaging 11.4 minutes, 3.5 points, and 1.6 rebounds. It's expected Davis will compete for depth minutes in Memphis's backcourt. He was Mr. Basketball in Wisconsin in 2020, averaging over 27 points a game that season. So we're looking forward to see what he can do with Memphis.
Mr. Basketball.
They're a good team. They're second in the West, so maybe some experience on a good team as well is going to help him.
A little osmosis, perhaps? Yeah, because you're going from one of the worst teams in the NBA to a much more talented team.
Yeah, and he's fun to watch. We've seen what he can do. He's got a lot of talent, so hopefully we can get that Johnny of old back doing
That's
good
right.
things in the NBA.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jacob.
Okay, Greg has one final look at your forecast right after this.
Meeting you locally where you are online. Get breaking news or other quick links. Follow us on X at News 8 News.
No cash, no problem. Head to Wesco on Sparta and get up to 48 months to pay interest-free on all the hot new furniture you want. Looking to level up your space? We've got you covered with recliners, sofas, bedroom sets, and dining furniture. All available with 0 interest for up to 48 months. Don't wait. Upgrade your home today and swing by Wesco in Sparta. Your home, your style, your savings, your Wesco. Tell them Peyton sent you.
Around here, neighbors come together to make each other better. We're taking the same approach with healthcare. Gunderson Health System and Bellin Health have come together to form Amplify Health, giving you more of what's important in healthcare. More caring, more listening, more to feel good about on your way to feeling better. Overall, just a little more heart. Amplify Health by Gunderson. A little empathy changes everything.
To everyone who's hungry for something special,
Culver's is the place for us. Hi, what can I make fresh for you today? It's nice being greeted by people who are glad to see you. And I appreciate that they use real ingredients, like fresh beef and Wisconsin cheese. The frozen custard is so fresh and creamy, it tastes like it was made just for us. It's our pleasure. Just spending time with family, that's what mealtime at Culver's is all about.
from Wisconsin with love. Welcome to Delicious!
Okay, let's see. Headlines from News 8 Now? Check. Live updates all day? Check. Local breaking news? Yep. Weather every 10 minutes? Yes, please. Well, that was an easy choice. News 8 Plus. It puts the now in your day. Get it today.
All right, so this evening really is going to be the wind out there. It could be 20 to 25 miles per hour. It will decrease, but probably not until after midnight. The rest of the night, pretty quiet. Temperatures kind of cold, but pretty typical. Single digits to low teens. Tomorrow, for the most part, quiet conditions. Quiet for Friday evening, and then the snow arrives late Friday night. Definitely going to be hazardous travel Saturday with some significant accumulation.
Significant snow Saturday.
It is. Yeah.
Oh, alliteration right there. Like it can go. Thanks for joining us at 6.